Here at the LAFC Performance Center for another edition of LAFC Black and Gold. And look at this, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty. Just 4 games remain for LAFC. Glad you could join us. I am Max Predos here with our weekly roundtable. Josh Gross from the Southern California News Group, Ryan Wallison from The Athletic. Guys, we're going to talk about a few things, but we begin with LAFC's last performance in Chicago. And well, it wasn't really good. It was a tough one for the club for sure.
It wasn't a good collective performance by the team. Probably one of their worst performances in their last stretch of games. And when you talk to Bob and some of the players here at practice this week, none of them are running from that fact. They're using it as a game to get better. But in a stretch where every point matters closing out the season, if they fail to reach any of their points, any of their goals in the end of the season, that's going to be a game they look back on and regret.
You always sense, Josh, that they take something positive out of the game, but listening to the players and the coach, this was a tough one to pull enough out of to help you in the big picture.
Bob expressed it immediately afterwards, right? They were angry about their performance, and you can understand why. Just the effort wasn't there. It's one thing to lose a game, but not to really put forth the kind of energy that you would need in a spot like that. They talked about it all week. They knew that Chicago had been eliminated from the playoffs. There's some concerns about, what does that mean in terms of what their desire is, their passion. But you had to expect them to come in, and they actually played loose, and LAFC didn't match that. I think it's unfortunate for the team because they lose any cushion that they had for the playoff race. It really puts an emphasis on the last 4 games of the season for them, and there's no room to slip up for them if they want to get those top 2 seeds now.
A lot was made of the favorable schedule for LAFC in the run-in, but you got to win those games, and they'll be expected, even though their next game is on the road at Colorado. Ryan, this outside of San Jose is the worst team in the league, but they are good at home. But LAFC really has to view this. If they want to finish the top 2, this is a place they have to get a good performance in.
Well, the one silver lining in the Chicago game is that they still have these last 4, and that should have been their wake-up call for these subpar teams. On paper, they should be able to take care of business against Colorado, who played better at home but have scored 1 goal in their last, I believe, 5 matches.
Yeah, I think Colorado's in a position to want to put in a really good performance to spoil things.
Colorado was in good form at that game. They're not in good form now at all. They're playing terrible right now. So this all has to be about LAFC, nothing about Colorado, even if they're a good team at home. You think if LAFC is good as they think they are, they're going to walk in there and at least take away a point. I mean, that's almost unsatisfactory. They have to win. They have to take 3 points. And if they don't take 3 points in this game, they're not going to get to the 60 because 3 wins and a draw to get to the 60, that's what the team's goal has been. They blew that in Chicago in terms of getting some cushion. They have to win this game.
Because we know there's 3 teams battling for those top 2 spots. FC Dallas are in the lead. They're 2 points back, Sporting Kansas City, then LAFC. And if you look at the run-in, Dallas, Orlando at DC, Sporting Kansas City at Colorado, Sporting Galaxy, that's coming up, at Vancouver, at Dallas, and then LAFC again, or LAFC, the other LAFC team, and LAFC at Colorado, Houston, Vancouver at Sporting Kansas City. You guys have seen that schedule. So how do you see it ending up 1, 2, 3 in the Western Conference?
I can see Dallas holding on to that number 1 spot just because they have the cushion in points, and I believe they'll be able to form out the rest of the season. Sporting Kansas City has the toughest schedule for my money just because 3 of their last 4 games are against very, very hot teams in the West, and both LA teams and then Dallas. So I think they're going to have the most to fight against based on the strength of schedule. Dallas, LAFC, Sporting Kansas City is how I see it shaking out.
Because we know those 2 teams play in Kansas City at the end of the year, and that feels bigger and bigger.
Decision day is where LAFC takes it over Kansas City?
I believe so.
If it does, boy, that's an amazing atmosphere on a great day in this league. And I think, though, that it stays on form where we're at. I think KC and Dallas 1 and 2, and I think Dallas probably stays at 1. They've been there all season. They've maintained that energy all season. They haven't really slipped. I think LAFC ends up in that 3rd spot. And the question to me is,
we want to be real here.
Who do they play?
They might end up 4th. We don't know. There's a lot of activity behind them.
It's possible, but with the final 4 that they have, especially the 3 before the game in Kansas City, you think they have to pull 7 points out of that. If they pull 7 points out of those 3 games, they're in a really good spot to get that 3rd seed, at home knockout game at Bank of California Stadium. And I'm kind of thinking, or maybe in my head imagining, Galaxy can pull something out and get that 6th seed. We get an El Tráfico playoff game. That'd be pretty amazing. So that's what I'm calling.
Okay,
I'm calling that.
And it's good that you mentioned that because you can see the how difficult it is to get results week in, week out because the teams in front of LAFC are dealing with that as well. All right, just real quickly here, we have a little thing we call peakers and slippers. Is it peakers or slipping and peaking? Sure. A team that's peaking that you probably don't want to face the playoffs, you get that, Josh. Team that's slipping, Ryan, you get that. Peaker
I think right now DC United. I mean, it's a tale of two seasons really. Since July 14th, they've been an amazing team, one of the best teams in the league. Wayne Rooney's had a big impact on that squad. Luciano Acosta won Player of the Week this week, so he's had a huge impact. I wouldn't want to be an Eastern Conference team to face them as the 5th or the 6th seed. I think they'd be very dangerous.
And in terms of a team that I think is slipping in terms of its control of its playoff fate, kind of has to do with DC United, but the Montreal Impact are the team that is trying to hold off DC here at the end of the season. Montreal has played 2 more games than DC, and they're only ahead by 2 points. And I think that honestly, even if they finish the season on form, DC is playing at a level that it could be out of their hands.
Josh, Ryan, thank you so much. Really enjoyed it as we do every week. Much more LAFC Black and Gold coming your way. Welcome back. Here we are at the Performance Center again with final stretch run here for LAFC. And we know LAFC fans, the 3252, and everyone at Bank of California Stadium love Diego Rossi. Well, we have a great interview with him coming up. Stick around for that. But we begin where we usually do, with the man in charge. As we do every week here on LAFC Black and Gold, we get a chance to sit with head coach Bob Bradley. And we heard obviously after the Fire game your disappointment with the performance. And what are you looking to work on here to get back on track to the way you want to play in a successful way in your next game?
It's not like we've come up with a new idea. I just think the speed of play, speed of thought, the intensity in certain situations. If you have a chance to win the ball back quickly and the reactions are slow and there's not a real commitment to win it, then in too many cases, you've got to work very, very hard and run 50, 60, 70 yards to still defend. And for me, on the day, there were too many situations that we just didn't get after the right way.
Next up, Colorado. A team hasn't had a good season, but this is a unique league, and geographically, they're in a new place, and we can talk about the altitude. I know that's part of it. But what are the challenges that this game, coming off another road game in Chicago, what kind of the challenge they provide?
Oh, Colorado is not an easy place to play. And yes, there is altitude, so our ability to pick the correct moments to press, in other moments maybe be a little more in a mid-block and not feel like we've got to step up on every situation. So it's a collective understanding of how to deal with the game. And then, as always, can we be sharp? Can we take advantage of opportunities that we create going forward? That part still has to be earned every game.
We're going to talk to Diego Rossi on the show. What have you seen from him week to week, a young player, with his commitment to improving himself? What have you seen that stood out?
Diego's been fantastic. So what I see is a player who is exciting, goes at defenses.
That's a big one.
No, he's fantastic at that. He comes from wide areas but gets in towards the goal. So he's not just a traditional winger that's serving in crosses. He's somebody that creates situations by dribbling, by running off the ball to be a threat, to get behind. And he also works very hard when the ball turns over to help us defend. So Diego's been fantastic in his first year in MLS.
I know after San Jose, you said you got to that 50-point plateau. Now you have 4 games left. Does the scoreboard watching begin to see if you can get in those top 2, or how do you look at this 4 games as a body to finish the final stretch here?
Well, certainly we'd like to finish in the top part of the conference. We'd like to have a bye in the first round, and we know that with 4 games, there's 12 points to play for. One of those games is against Kansas City, so that one at the very end will carry extra importance. But for us, it's always about trying to really go after games from start to finish, make it hard on the opponent, create chances. I feel like if that's the way we play from start to finish, then the chance to take points goes up and up and up.
You'll get to where you want to go.
Yes.
All right, Bob, as always, thanks for your time. Again, this Saturday coming up, game you can see on YouTube TV. We'll continue here with LAFC Black and Gold. Welcome back to LAFC Black and Gold. A lot of responsibility was put on the shoulders of 19-year-old Diego Rossi. Now at 20 years of age, he has responded with that responsibility, taking a big burden for the success of this club. He scored another goal over the weekend, and I had a chance to chat with him about how he has seen his LA adventure and where it goes from here. Happy to be joined here by Diego Rossi. Diego, good to see you, and you're 20 years old, come from Uruguay, and your game has gotten better. How have you seen your soccer, your football improve since you've come to the United States?
I think that is improving, and is a lot of work and ideas that we have to change. Sometimes when you come to another country, and it's going to be good to improve more.
This is a very long season. It's tricky. What have you noticed about playing here that is new for you, that you've had to adjust?
There is like more dynamic, and you have to run more, and the game is more vertical, and you have to defend and then to attack very quickly, but for my kind of play, it's good for me.
Lots of work. I saw you post on Instagram, anniversary of Peñarol, 127 years. And I started to laugh because now you play for a team that's 1 year old. So what's the difference between playing an older, established club and a new club?
When they say me that the club want me to play here and they say that it's a new club, I don't understand what the meaning of a new club. And yes, to me was different because I only play in Peñarol in Uruguay, and when I was a child I started there, and they say the whole history that they
the legends,
have, yes,
the trophies.
yes,
yeah.
They have many things, and it's different. So I say, well, it's good that to make something different and try to do this history.
There it is! Well, you always remember your first.
So you went out with the guys to the J Balvin concert. You always have the music going. Every time I hear it's a Bad Bunny and Te Bote, and it's you putting on the music.
Yes, me, or sometimes here maybe Edward, but we always try to put Latin music.
Right. Did you like the concert? Was good to go with the guys?
Very good.
Good. That's one of the good things about living in LA. They all come here. All right, Diego Rossi, obviously off to a great first season at LAFC, one of many, we hope. Thank you, Diego. We continue here with LAFC Black and Gold. Carlos Vela, probably the MVP of this team, but I tell you what Diego Rossi's done is put him right there on Carlos's bumper. Glad to catch up with him. LAFC is not a club just for Los Angeles. It is growing fans all over the world. Part of that is because of the players that play here. Part of it's just because LAFC is really cool, right? Well, I caught up with Brendan Matthews, who watches LAFC games all the way in Australia and had the opportunity to come all the way here to watch one in person. Here in the North End, where the 3252 congregate, you can feel it. It's game day. Brendan Matthews. Where you sound like you're not from here.
Nah, I'm about 9,000 miles away.
He's LAFC Australia. When you walk around here, people know who you are because of your Twitter handle.
Yep.
And you are an LAFC fan in Melbourne, Australia.
Yep.
How did that happen?
I keep coming out here about once a year. I'm a big soccer fan. I follow the game around the world. Thought, what's a team that represents LA to me? I love coming to LA. What's a team that represents LA?
So you came to LA and then you saw LAFC and then you're hooked.
Yep. I came out here, got some friends who live out here. They were jumping on board last year. I'm like, you know what? I'll jump on board too. Everything that I see, everything they've been saying, I agree with. It represents LA, the diversity, the 32-52, includes everyone, so I thought, why not?
Right, and I want to just say, because you came bearing gifts, you came from the Black Army.
Yep.
They gave you this, so the Black Army, one of the big supporter groups, and some Tim Tam cookies, which I'll be enjoying later, an Australian delicacy.
Of course.
So, how do you watch the games? Like, what time are they on? What is the whole routine?
Well, right now it is about 7 hours ago tomorrow. So when you guys have a midday game, it's a 5 a.m. kickoff for us.
5 a.m. So he's got a little bit of coffee or some tea.
Yep. When you guys have a 7 p.m. game, it's perfect. It's midday, go to the pub, have some lunch, have some beers.
When you're at the pub, do you say, hey, can you put the LAFC game on?
Yeah.
And they're like, sure, right away.
Always make sure that the pub's got bean sports on if it's being shown. Always keep up to date.
Interesting. So, do they ask you questions about the team? Do you sense people are curious about LAFC?
Yeah, I actually, one of the pubs I went to, I was there watching the game and had a guy come up and start speaking to me. Ended up being one of the Australian goalkeeper's stepfathers.
Wow.
So we got talking about the game and all that, so.
We should get an Australian player here. Maybe for next season, we'll see.
Always got to try that.
There's some good Australian players out there. So you've been here for a couple games. What was the first game experience for you like?
Inside the bank or?
Yes, inside the bank.
Inside the bank, walking in the stadium, which is amazing. Hearing the noise come off the roof, seeing the beautiful stadium you've built, the safe standing, it's amazing.
And this is all about inclusiveness. So when you come here, they bring you, everyone's like, come on in, shoulder to shoulder.
Exactly. As soon as I walked in, straight down the very front row, you're there, chant with us, enjoy it.
All right. Brendan's come a long way, but as you see, the LAFC family, it's breaking through borders, it's going across the Pacific, the Indian Ocean, to LAFC Australia. Enjoy it. Come out anytime. You're welcome.
Will do.
We are an inclusive club. You know that. And if you live outside of LA and you love this team, we would love to hear from you, especially if you're in town to see a game. Drop us a note right here on this YouTube page and reach out to us and let's have a chat because we know why you love it. We want to hear it. So some pretty cool stuff to pass on to you. LAFC and New Era have come together to create the New Era fitted icon cap that you can buy at LAFC HQ. You can buy at LAFC.com. It's very cool. Everyone's going to be wearing them. Now, if you want to win one of those hats, you have your chance right here. I have a trivia question. Whoever answers it correctly, drop the answer to my Twitter handle, @ESPN, and you can win that LAFC New Era fitted icon hat. The trivia question is, which LAFC player scored their very first goal against the Colorado Rapids? I'm not going to tell you. That's just figure it out. Drop me a note. Speaking of the Colorado Rapids, that is the next game for LAFC. You can see it Saturday, 5:30 on YouTube TV. It's a big game. My +1, former U.S. national team player Lori Lindsay. I'm going to be thrilled to be in the booth with her. And hopefully we're calling 3 points for the guys in black and gold. That is all the time we have. We'll look forward to seeing you on YouTube TV or the next LAFC Black and Gold. Until then, see you later.